There's a story from history that suddenly makes a lot of sense to me. Imagine a period before the Younger Dryas. Let's say 20,000 years ago. When the Neanderthals and the Denisovans existed alongside us. They were the smart ones. They did all the drawings, did all the technology, did all the knowledge. And they looked after us. We were their children, in that sense. They were the adults, we were the children. And they moulded us and bred us to suit the environment that they were creating through collective consciousness, which was the low gravity environment. They bred us to exist in that environment and created it through their behaviour. They became more beast, we became more light, more dense. They took the density, we took the lightness. And they pulled it off. And we became light. We began to float. And we were frightened, really frightened, that they actually pulled it off, and that they were gods who could make us fly. And that we felt that they betrayed us, our parents had betrayed us. And so we smashed their house to pieces. We burned it to the ground, and we destroyed them. We committed genocide on the Neanderthals and the Denisovans, our parents who looked after us. But we were frightened, we were just children. We built all that lovely technology for them. Not as slaves, as children who wanted to make their mum and dad happy. Look what we've done for you. And that's the shame that we then carried. As we cast ourselves out of the Garden of Eden through that act of fear, of flying. Narcissism took over in the Dark Age, the 1,000-year period of the Younger Dryas itself. The Ice Age, when the planet had tipped over, all the megafauna died off. It must have been fucking awful. From the planet that they'd known, those first people and the stories that they must have told of the planet, of how it used to be, that got them through that dark, dark time, would have been amazing. But of course, narcissism rises. The slave masters rise and say, no, and they replicate the civilization that we had, that we knew, but corruptly. So then we've got mum and dad, but they're cunts. Sorry, wasn't going to swear. They can behave really badly towards you. They fuck you up, your mum and dad. They don't mean to, but they do. And so it's the shame. The slave masters knew that our shame of the genocide that we committed had to be buried at all costs. Never look at the shame of what we did. Don't look at it, don't think about it. Keep working, and we can keep heavy, and we won't have to deal with that flying stuff that we were so frightened about. Göbekli Tepe comes along just after, I say just before. The desire for it came just before, and that the desire for it created the environment in which they could build it, and the low density environment started to come back. We started to float again, and some people loved it and some people hated it. And guess who won? And then you can track the rise and fall of civilization as exactly as a rise and a fall of density of the air and ourselves in the air and how floaty we were. And just hold the thought that flying will be wonderful. It'll be controlled. We've got full control now. There won't be disasters. Nobody will fly to the sun and melt their wings. That won't happen. The Institute will have control of everything. The Institute will control the planet. Be like a swimming pool with a wave machine. I think we can use the Hadron Collider to actually control gravity and speed of. All we got to control is rotation of planet and angle. So whatever the planet rotation is set by how well we're evolving. So that's the energy, and then we can adjust that energy to change the angle of the planet. We can adjust that ourselves with the magnetic field to gain maximum momentum, and then we can decide on what gravity we want at specific periods during the month. Follow the lunar month. So the party time will be the floaty time. The time of the bleed will be the heavy time. The time of the sex will be lightening. The lightening of the load will come through the sex after the bleed, and then there's the 2 weeks of the partying, and then off we go again. Wave machine, and we can fuck around with it and see where it goes. So don't be frightened, because Mum and Dad are back in the room. It's the engineers. It's the forum, the 600. Welcome to the future. That story's finished. The shame is owned. The Institute owns it. The Institute owns the shame of the genocide that we committed, and we forgive ourselves for it, because we didn't know what we did. Forgive them, Lord. They know not what they do. And it was necessary. They had to go extinct. They were beasts. The new Earth is going to be new creatures, and we will evolve them ourselves. We have the technology to do it. And we have the morality. And we have cleared the shame. And we can be children again in our playground with the morality of God, or whatever. Love rules. Do the work. Choose!